Hey, Stanley.
Hi, Mickey, and everybody. I'm going to lead us off today. It's Thursday, definitely fall. It really, it only, it really feels like fall. But it's good, very brisk. And we are moving on toward Election Day, which I hope we will have a chance to precede with one more meeting before that, when we will have a chance to talk about politics and so on.
Mm.
I know Mickey and I are both eager to do that, but we have still one more chance to do it past today. Today, I have suggested that we take as our topic looking inward, looking into ourselves. That's an idea that I am a firm believer in, as long as the look is honest and unbiased.
Mm.
Leave prejudice about ourselves somewhere else, what we would like to be, and talk about what we are. Looking into ourselves. I would like to introduce a, a Hebrew idea which could play into this. There is an expression in Hebrew, which I've been hoping we could get to at some point. It says tikkun olam. Tikkun, UN, olam, OLAM, which translates repair the world.
Mm.
This comes from the Talmud, I have read, with the idea being that the world is broken and needs repair.
Mm.
And it is the obligation of every citizen, every person, to help do the repair. It's a wonderful concept, and it can apply in lots of different ways, of course.
Yeah.
But I think it's really apt nowadays. So much turmoil in the world. Goodness knows the world could stand some repair. That's no joke. And so I'd like to get into that a little bit today. And let me turn it over to Mickey and see how he wants to, what
Yeah.
he wants to say.
Can you say it again in Hebrew?
Tikkun, in English spelling, Tikun, tikkun, olam, OLAM,
And what's the translation?
repair the world.
Repair the world.
Something like that, yeah.
That's cool.
Is the translation.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought is, when talking about the subject of looking inside, I think, especially in today's society, certainly in America, I suppose I can't speak for elsewhere. We're all so very self-centered in what it is that we want and what we're looking for, what we're trying to achieve. Everybody wants to have a certain level of comfort, a certain level of success, a certain level of notoriety, whatever it is that people are looking for. And especially I see it in my generation a lot. People don't spend nearly as much time thinking about the service that they're providing, what it is that they're doing for the community that they're a part of. It's more like what they can get from the community, what they can get from the industry, what they can get from their boss, what they can get from a client, what they can get from a customer, or from a relationship. But very rarely do people sort of sit back and take the time to think, like, how am I contributing to this greater thing that I'm a part of. Which I think is a really important thing for people to spend time with themselves to focus on, is what is it that I do that is of benefit to the people around me. And if there's nothing I can think of, then I need to find something, and I need to contribute in some palpable way, because that's really where, this, repair the world, this idea of being a part of a solution or of a betterment, where it is. And I think it's where purpose comes from. People talk about trying to be happy, find happiness, but happiness, I think, is a sort of a side effect of purpose.
Yes. You like this idea.
Yeah, I do. I like this.
Well, how about something specific?
Sure.
In the arena of helping, of repairing the world, as it were.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons that I have sort of invested a lot of time into life coaching, and what I do through that vein is for exactly that. It's to give people the space and singular focused time to discover or rediscover what it is that actually matters to them and how to get those things. I think a lot of people, it's not that they don't want to do that. It's not that they don't think about it. It's that they don't give themselves the time to do it. And most of the time it's because they don't believe that they have the time,
Yeah.
But what I do with coaching is that I provide a space and a time, consistent time, every week almost, with a client to sit down and say, what is it that you want to achieve? And we're going to spend the next hour talking only about how you can do that and what you need to do in order to be the person who can do that. And I say it a lot to other, to clients and to other people in the coaching sort of world. But, when the goals that you have in your life, be it, I want to write a novel, or I want to start this new business, or I want to find a partner to share my life with, whatever it is, you think about these larger goals that you have, and you think about them usually like when you're in the shower, getting ready for the day, when you're on your commute, on your way to work, and then when you're putting your head down on your pillow at the end of the day. And the other times of the day, you're just sort of living your life and like surviving, doing the things that you need to do in order to accomplish the tasks of that day, be it the work that you have to do at the job that you're already at, or the commutes that you have to do, the bills you have to pay, the calls you have to make, the pets you have to feed, whatever it is that you have to do. Your day is mostly full of things that you've committed to that you have to do today. And then you only have this sort of extra spare time to think about the larger goals. And what coaching is really giving yourself allotted time to only think about those things in a functional and actionable way. And I find that, for me, it's a way that I can provide service to a community of people who need it,
Do you subscribe to that idea for yourself?
Yeah, I do. I have a coach. I have my own coach, and she gives me the space.
And what comes out of that?
To me, it's really clarity. It comes to and steps. I have certain goals of where Sarah and I are planning this wedding.
Yes.
And to plan a wedding is like a very big thing to say. Like, I'm going to plan a wedding. And beneath that, there's a million things that have to be done in order to plan a wedding. And I don't have the time, per se, in my day-to-day life to sit down and break down what all those things are that need to get done. So in my coaching sessions with my coach, one of the things that I have done of late, because it's what's happening in my life right now, is break down the steps that need to be accomplished in order to reach that larger phrase of plan a wedding. You know, we have to do the guest count. We have to figure out the budget. We have to allocate that budget to different departments of what it is that is required. We have to do the venue. There's so many things, and you can stress yourself out, or you know, scare yourself into stagnancy and procrastination if you're just like, oh, I have to plan this wedding and it's so much to think about. But if the only thing you think about is like, all right, if I look at my list of like, what does it mean to plan a wedding? Like, I can work on the guest count today. I can, you know, look up a couple of florists today. And no, you're not planning a wedding today, but you're doing little things that all are part of that. And then before you know it, you've planned a wedding, you know?
To me, it sounds like fun.
It is fun. It is definitely fun. And it's just like, it's validating, I think, mostly. It helps you believe that you can do things that you prior to thought were too big or too complicated or too time consuming, too daunting to try and do.
I'll ask you a tough question. Is there anything within that subject that reflects on the idea of giving back?
On the subject of coaching?
Or is a wedding totally self-centered?
Oh, well, are you talking about me as the coach or me as the client?
You as a groom.
Oh,
Going back to the idea of giving back to the world.
yeah. I don't know if it's specifically, you know, giving back to the world at large, but for me, what a wedding day is a reason, an excuse to celebrate and indulge in joy with a whole community of people in your life. So, in a sense, you're giving back.
Well, you are giving back to your family and your friends.
Yeah, and they're part of my community, and by extension, part of the larger world. And so I do feel like, in some way, creating a reason to imbibe in joy is a giving back.
How does your family? I know how you benefit from your wedding, and Sarah. How does your family benefit?
I mean, I suppose I'd have to ask them specifically how they benefit. I think that they.
I bet you could guess.
I think that they, you know, they get to have another kid in some respects.
Sure.
You know, Sarah's joining our family.
That's right.
Which I think gives them a lot of joy. It gives them, I think it provides them a sense of peace that I am no longer their problem. That I'm now, you know, self-sufficient, and I'm with this person.
Yeah.
That I've chosen to spend my life with, and they don't need to worry about what the future holds for me in that department, because I'm, you know, that's taken care of. They also get to watch a significant timestamp in my life, sort of laid out in front of them, of this kid that they raised is now like doing this thing, which I can't say that brings them joy or that's giving back to them in some way, but I like to think that it probably is.
Well, I can't but imagine that your parents are delighted by the prospect of your wedding.
Yeah, I hope so. I think so. I think that they're happy. You know, it's life is full of very sad, difficult circumstances, and
for sure,
when there's a happy one, I think it's our responsibility to indulge in it, because those are the things you'll remember.
I agree.
You know, how about you in terms of giving back to the world?
Well, I don't have a wedding planned.
It's not too late.
Missed out on those. On that, I'll share with our audience, our listeners. Yesterday, I shared this already with Mickey. Yesterday, I helped a young lady with some writing. She is a neighbor in my building. She is applying to a graduate school and has to include in her application a personal statement. She has read some of the books that I've written and liked them and thought I might be able to help her to do this personal statement.
Mm.
So she asked if I would help her, and I'm glad to do it. In the past, I've helped lots of students do these essays for applications to schools. I'd never done quite like this one, but I thought, why not? So we worked together yesterday, and she had some very good ideas, and I threw in some good number of suggestions which she liked. That is giving back a little bit to the world, I hope. I think she's a very worthwhile young woman. She lives with her boyfriend in the building. I don't know him really at all, except that he's quite good looking. And it's interesting. The schools that she wants to apply to are local. She's not applying out of town. And she didn't say why, but I'm assuming it's so that she can stay with the boyfriend.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of giving back.
Yeah.
You know, I think going to religious services too is a way of giving back, because you're sharing your feeling, your community sense with other people. I have not been doing that in recent times. I did do it for a very long time. I grew up in a community where going to religious services was part of what I did, and of course I was doing it in a way by force because my parents were doing it, and I was young and did what they said to do, and I carried that on for a while on my own. Not so much now, except for prayers, and prayers for me are important. I do pray, and I pray. Most of my prayers, this gets a bit off the subject, but most of my prayers are prayers of thanks. Thanks for allowing me to live in a free country where we have free elections. Thanks for reasonably good health at my age. Thanks for having this space to live in where I can have my own life, my own privacy, or not. Prayers of thanks, yeah. And prayers of hope. Hope for peace, hope for the release of the hostages who are being held against their will. Terrible story, that is. These people who have been held captive for over a year now. This is me, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more on the subject than you think, because prayer to me, I mean, talking about looking inside, prayer, meditation, all of that time spent in solitude. It's another thing that we, certainly in my generation and the generation below mine, we don't do it enough. Again, we've talked about it in the past, but these phones, social media, all these apps on your phone, all these things that steal your attention. They rob you of the present moment. They rob you of connection with people. You know, you sit on the train and everybody is looking at their phone on the subway, and no one is smiling at a stranger.
Yeah.
No one is striking up conversation with the person next to them because they all have something else that they can do. And it distracts us from the skill that we need to build of being present in a moment, doing this, to having a conversation with a person, or being alone in your home at the end of the night and spending 10 minutes in prayer where you're not distracted, you're thinking only about the things that matter to you in the real world, whether it be of gratitude or of hope or whatever it is that you're discussing.
You know, the addiction to phones is a very hot topic these days, and it is encouraging to me to learn that there are more and more schools that are forbidding the use of phones in the school, in the classroom.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing. Goodness knows there were generations of people who didn't know anything about having phones that they could carry around. That's relatively a new thing.
Yeah.
And it has become an addiction to young people, and schools are trying to break that down. I read, I hear, and I hope it's true.
I do too, because I think it really is. It's destroying community.
Yeah, I mean, how do you get to know your neighbor or even your classmate if you're stuck on the phone all the time?
Yeah. Well, and I mean the psyche of these developing kids, you know, trying to build up their own confidence, trying to find a circle of friends, trying to see how they fit in and with whom they fit in, and all of these things that you have to deal with just as you're growing up in general. And now it's not just how do I fit into the club in my school, but now it's like how do I fit into my age demographic in the entire world.
Yeah.
And like what I'm comparing myself to people that I've never met before, that I never would meet otherwise without having that. And it just kills your spirit before it has a chance to grow. It breaks down your confidence. It teaches you to constantly be looking left and right to see what other people are thinking about you, validating you for everything that you do, liking your posts, you know, all these things. Is like you're learning at a young age to seek validation from other people and to try and get approval from other people based on how you act, what you share, who you are. And that's no way to develop a sense of confidence in yourself or independence or individuality. You know, everyone wants to be like the thing that they think is cool, you know, but I don't think that in any way is helping people look inside of themselves, march to the beat of their own drum. That's what my dad used to always say to me. You got to march to the beat of your own drum. He used to say that a lot when I was growing up. Walk the walk, don't talk the talk.
Yeah.
He always said.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like those values are not as prevalent now as they once were. And I know even from when I was young, I can't imagine the difference from when you were in high school to when I was versus from me to now. It really is like a sad and weird thing. You know, people are changing. I can't relate to what it would be like to go to school now, to go to high school now. I didn't really have that.
I wonder that too. Yeah, I think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I taught high school for a long time, so, you know, and though that's certainly more recent than when I was in high school, but even that now is sort of in the past.
Yeah.
We didn't have phones that we carried around. We managed without them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's all very, very strange, you know.
I do, though, before we quit, which I guess we're going too soon, I do believe that it is such a good thing for somebody, anyone, me, you, anybody, to take an honest look back at who we really are. You know, where are we failing? Where are we not doing what we could do? Where are we not giving the tikkun olam to help repair the world?
Yeah.
The world has lots of opportunities to be repaired. Goodness knows. Ooh.
Yeah, and you can do it in the smallest of ways.
You bet.
You know, help a person carry their bags up the stairs.
Absolutely.
You know, hold the
And
elevator door for a stranger.
For me, even helping this young woman write an essay.
Yeah.
It's certainly a small individual thing.
Yeah.
For her, however, it's important. So
Well, and not just for her, but assuming, you know, with your help, she uses this essay to get into the law school of her choosing, and then she goes on to help a great number of people with a law practice to be able to help education systems grow and all these things. Like, you'll have had a part not in only helping her in that moment, but in helping all of those people by extension because of a kind act that you chose to do years and years prior. You know, my dad always said to me when I was little that if you can look in the mirror at the end of the day and like the person that's looking back at you, be proud of that person that's looking back at you, then today was a good day.
You bet. Yeah.
And on that note, we're right about at time.
Next time, we promise, talk about politics.
Yes.
Which we keep postponing.
Yeah, it will be very fun to hear what you think about politics.
Yeah.
I have opinions.
All right. It's been fun being with you.
Always is.
Yeah.
Always is.
Happy fall, everyone.
Yeah, happy fall. All right. See you guys.
Bye-bye.